Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar on maintaining your Merrychef oven. Please note that this session is being recorded. I'm Matt Gentile with the Partstown marketing team, and I'm joined by our presenter from Merrychef, Scott Ballairgeon. Scott will share tips and tricks to keep Merrychef ovens running efficiently, how to navigate common troubleshooting issues, and provide an overview on the right products that should be used to clean and protect Merrychef ovens. As we close, he'll also discuss how customers can use well-built kitchen care to help support their equipment needs. After we hear from Scott, we'll leave a few minutes at the end for Q&A, so please submit your questions to Scott via the chat portal. At Partstown, safety is our #1 core value, so before we get started, we want to remind everyone on the line that if you have issues with your equipment performance or questions about any of the procedures discussed in this presentation, we strongly recommend that customers contact Well-Built Kitchen Care or a factory authorized service agent who can help with your specific unit and all your commercial kitchen equipment needs. And now let's turn it over to Scott.
Hey, thanks for that, Matt. Yeah, welcome everybody. Appreciate you taking time to spend a few minutes with us today. We're going to give you a quick overview of Merrychef, the ovens that you have purchased or that you plan on purchasing, and what you can do as operators to keep them running efficiently and also get the best use out of them. So please bear with me. I went the wrong way, I guess. Here we go. So Merrychef's history is long and varied with convection or combination cooking, I should say. We started in the 1950s and progressed through until the beginning of really the launch of multi-cook ovens with 3 technologies, with impingement, microwave technology, and convection air in the 2000s, and then to where we are today to what we call speed ovens, which is basically a whole new category in the front of the house. Just wanted to give you a quick brief history on Merrychef. The technology insight of your appliances, I think, is important for everybody to understand as well. So within your oven that you're using today, whichever model it may be in our line, you have 3 varied technologies that are all independently controllable. So it's a balance of these 3 that will get you the results that you need. So understanding that from your application cooking standpoint from your product is critical to get the best results, as well as understanding how those technologies work together to balance the need for your operation, with the main driver being speed of service. So as you see on the left, we have a convection heated airflow through the main circulator fan over the elements through impingement plates into the cavity, as well as the microwave technology on most of our appliances is launched from the top of the side to penetrate the food and increase the warming, if you will, from the water molecules being excited by the microwave technology. Water sort of, that's how microwave works. People say it cooks from the inside out. It really excites the water molecules, and that's how the cooking from the microwave goes. And then, of course, impingement, like from our conveyor ovens of the Lincoln line, you have that direct airflow onto the product, which removes the cold boundary layer, thus generating or penetrating the product and transferring heat into the product. That's what we're talking about here is heat transfer into the product. So it's in Merrychef, in most any speed oven that's out there, it's a combination of these technologies that work, and we work very hard to make sure that they're balanced and that they work together and not against each other. You could have an appliance that you may have cooking problems where the outside is burnt and the inside is not cooked. It could be a programming problem, it could be a slacking prep problem from the cooking point, or it could just be lack of understanding of how those 3 technologies work together to best cook that particular product. So you need to understand that to be able to take advantages of the Merrychef oven and get the best out of it. So in the end, what we're all striving for is high speed, consistent results. Another feature that the Merrychef that I'll talk about is as well is the cool to touch exterior. This being a front of the house appliance, it's critical to the operation and the staff that attribute is available and is something that we market well. Also, the unit is very energy efficient. We have monitored airflow, and you'll understand why we worry about the airflow in a few minutes. A big one for most of the operators is the ventless operation, and you can't discount that because the cost of the hood systems per linear foot that you could put in, that you would be required to put in if you didn't have a ventless appliance, would be quite high and probably take some of the operators out of the game. And then how we use air curtain technology in our cooling systems to keep the appliance running tip-top shape. So all of our oven ranges that you may have, and I'm not sure what everybody else there has today, but the E2S, our Icon range, E2, E2S, E4, and E4S all utilize three cooking technologies and can cook up to 20 times faster than current cooking methods, a convection oven, a standard radiant oven. And then our E5 and E3 models are sort of our older generation models, also combination cooking, but only convection and microwave, and they're about 5 times faster. So the most that we see in the US market are the top line models, and I suspect most of the callers here today are using one of these 3 models. So the team at Partstown wanted to just have a few seconds to discuss the functionality and the efficiency of your oven. We talked about the 3 technologies that are employed in your oven and how do you get the best use out of those. So one is to tap into the chef team at Wellbill and our local reps. All of our local reps and chefs have been trained by the factory people, and also through years of experience now with speed cooking. That they are great resources for you guys to use to make sure you're getting the best out of your appliance. It is sort of a plug and play appliance. It can show up on your door from a dealer, and you might not be able to get the best use of it in that way. So we always suggest that you tap into the resources that are there to help you to make sure that you're using the features fully. The fan speed has independent settings of 5-degree increments from 10 to 100%. The same with the microwave power. You can go from 0 to 100%, so it makes it quite versatile. Also, there's multi-stage programming that you can do within the control to have multiple steps. So say you were cooking a sandwich that you wanted to heat on the inside and outside as well, and then add a step in the middle, a slice of cheese or something. You could do that and put directions on the screen for the operator to make it very simple, so that the Merrychef will help you with that build of that product in the back of the house, so that your employees get it right every time if the touch screen tells them what to do. And then the most important, and I'm sure you guys have heard this many times in your operation and from food equipment vendors, especially true in a speed oven, is cleaning, and proper cleaning is done every day by your staff. This is most important. And that starts from day one. If you allow the carbon buildup to build inside of the cavity and on certain components, microwave energy can be attracted to that. You can start to have performance problems where the energy, instead of going to the food, is going to the carbon buildup. It can actually begin to arc in those areas and create other problems for you. So it's paramount that's what you can do as operators, is to keep that cavity clean and functioning properly, which will keep the efficiency of the heat transfer, of the microwave energy transfer into the food at the levels that it was at new. We have a myriad of videos and help aids that we've created to support y'all with that quest, with that ongoing training for your employees, ongoing education, to make it first of mind for them and top and very easy to do. Not only does the control walk you through it, we've made, as I said, job aids that you can plaster on the side of the oven with simple icon-driven steps, so that it's very easy for them to follow and continue to do constantly. So here is just an example of one of the job aids that we created. It takes you through the daily cleaning process, and it walks you through what to do on the control and what steps and what what equipment is needed to do that. We always promote safe use of protective equipment, and people should do that normally through your restaurant, as well as maintaining sanitary conditions around the unit as well. So these are very simple steps. The control, as I mentioned, walks you through it. You'll select the cleaning icon on the control or the cool down temperature if you're in QSR mode. The oven will prompt you to introduce the cooling tray into the oven, fill with ice. That helps bring the oven temperature down quicker so that they can clean the appliance. Also, it tends to soften the product a little bit that is ready to be cleaned at the end of the cooling cycle. The operator is free to go do something else while the oven is cooling down. Once the oven gets to a temperature that it's safe to touch internally, it will ask the operator to clean the cavity. Then the operator just follows the clean the cavity procedure. You spray the oven with a oven cleaner on a rag, wipe the interior portions. Where it's carbonized onto the stainless steel, yes, you do have to work a bit harder in those areas, but you got to remember, you're putting a lot of food through a ventless oven that's 12 inches wide by 7 inches tall by 12 inches deep. So it's going to have some buildup from that cooking, that use during the day. And it is as easy as clean as we can get it today. It's 430 stainless steel. You can use Merrychef cleaner, spray it on a rag, wipe it in there, let it soak for 10 to 15 minutes, just like any cleaner. It takes time to work a bit, but if you stay after it daily, then it becomes not such a difficult task. But really, I can't stress enough, the ovens that I've seen in my experience tend to be ignored. They're cleaned on the outside. You close the door, it looks clean, but if you open the door and look inside, somebody forgot to spend a little bit of time with that oven that just produced a lot of product for them for the day. So it's critical, and I don't mean to harp on that. Then it will simply tell you to apply the protector. If you use the protector, the Merrychef protector in that step, basically it's a release agent to try to help you minimize the impact for the next day. And then close the oven door, rinse down the outside. And the last step, and one of the most important that seems to get forgotten quite a bit, is clean the air filter, which we've engineered to be in front of the appliance, so it's readily available for your operators to clean it. There should be no excuse. So that sort of brings us to the troubleshooting and common problems. As an operator, there's really not much more you can do besides the basic cleaning of the air filter and reporting of the error messages. The touchscreen control has monitoring systems that look at every individual component inside the operation of the oven. If there's an error or a problem with one of those systems, it will alert you with the directions on the screen of what that error is and what mitigation steps you can take to correct that. Some of the common error codes that you may see, and if you recall, I mentioned earlier about airflow, cooling airflow to the oven. Most of these are associated with high ambient temperatures or high temperatures in the control area. And why that is critical is the magnetrons that generate the microwave energy, when they're firing, when they're on producing microwave power, they create a lot of heat energy as well that we have to dissipate. So we do that through the cooling airflow. But these are some of the common codes that you might see through your control. Example, code 99 is just that somebody has overridden the air filter. If they don't replace the air filter, they can say, they can acknowledge it on the control and allow the oven to still operate without the air filter in place. We want the air filter in place, so we log that event in the control and note that error code. So it helps us to go back and train best practices to make sure that they put the air filter back after cleaning it. The same with a few of the other codes that are listed here. There's possibilities that it's overheated by things being placed next to the appliance, blocking of the cooling airflow in some form or fashion. So an example would be, just for you to understand what I was trying to explain, is warning, this oven here has a high ambient temperature. Please remove and replace the air filter. That's the #1 cause of this ambient temperature condition. But the oven, you know, as mentioned, needs that, especially when it's in a high working environment where you're barrel rolling it, where you have that rush lunch period or dinner period. The cooling air is critical to keeping that Merrychef running. When the magnetrons are on, they require about 220 gallons of cooling air per minute so that they don't overheat themselves. It's a significant amount of cooling air, and you'll hear that in your oven when you're next to it and you start a program. You actually hear the cooling fan. We have a variable speed cooling fan, and it ramps up when we fire those magnetrons to increase that cooling airflow. So this would be a typical display that you see on the screen and what's happening behind the scenes. And also remember that, you know, the oven is 525 inside, so we're generating our own heat, kind of a necessary evil in the game. So this is just a beauty shot to show what we see sometimes where we do get these errors with cooling airflow, and they say, yeah, we've cleaned the filter, and we've pulled the door down, and we simply see that they haven't cleaned the filter. So this is restricting the airflow to the oven, which generated an error message to the operator, which generated a service call. A service technician on this particular one, the call center, asked them if the air filter was clean, and they said yes. When the technician got there, this is what he found. So these are things you can prevent before you roll a technician to come. These simple checks, which are in some of the aids that we had, which, you know, saves you money, saves everybody money, and you're still up and running and trading. But once you understand that, you know, some of these things happen, you can remedy them yourselves. Not saying they're all that way, but in this case it was. We do see a few of these throughout the year. Another thing that we've seen a bit of is actually damaging the cook plates and the materials internally, and then the appliance will be reported as not cooking properly. So here you see what I like to call the smiley cook plate, and this operator was saying that it wasn't cooking properly. The tech got there and he said, oh, it's the cook plate is bent, so, you know, the airflow is affected on the top and the bottom, as we talked about. And then they're saying, why is the cook plate, you know, bending like this? It's a cast aluminum piece. In this particular case, we found that in order to clean the cook plate, the staff at this store was taking it directly from a hot oven and putting it into cool water and shocking the material. So that was a procedural problem at the store. What we suggested in this store, because we understand it is difficult to clean the carbonized grease off the cook plates, is that they purchased a second cook plate and began a rotation through the day where they were able to allow it to cool, clean one while they were using the other, and so on. But it does affect the performance, and and it creates additional expense for the store that's really not needed. And then lastly, that you can really do something that you look every day when you open the oven is the door gasket intact. Just like any of your refrigeration units that you have in your operation, it's critical to keep the heat in our case, inside of the cavity, and also to keep it from flowing into the control area and into the oven itself, right? So as you recall, we pull cooling air in through the bottom of the oven. In this particular case, this gasket is missing on the bottom of the door. So a lot of that hot air could short circuit right back into the cooling air stream of the oven, just by the nature of the design of the small design of the appliance. So it's critical that you have that. It does affect not so much cooking performance. I put that note there, but the oven will work harder to stay warmer because it's losing the hot air out the front, if that makes sense to you. So whenever you see a worn or torn, say that 10 times fast, gasket, you should replace it as soon as possible. And it's a pretty simple thing to do. It's silicone to this, and you know, a service company should be able to do that for you very rapidly. I mean, this doesn't require any tools to do other than a scraper. As an operator, you probably could do this yourself if you wanted to. So when to call service? When do you have to make that decision? You know, that I have to make it happen. The quality touchscreen, the QTS will advise the operator of what error it is, and it will ask them to take any steps to mitigate that error before calling a service. So in some cases, it may say over temperature stats release, remove power. Basically, you're resetting the oven, and if it comes back on, you're good to go. If not, it will come with that error again and ask you to call service. The operator should always take note of that. Everyone has a phone in their hands today, it seems. So what I like to suggest is just grab a picture of it, and then you quickly will gather all the information with that photograph of the error for the service technician. That gives a couple of advantages. You can let them know what the error was. They can come prepared with those particular parts if they do their homework. And also, you know, instead of just calling and saying, I don't know what's wrong with it, you give them some idea of what's happening before. Always nice to them to know what happened, what was going on at the time it happened. You know, was there a brownout in the restaurant? Did the power go off? Any of those things are really important to the call as well. So more information you can share, the quicker your unit will get back up and running. Here's a typical error message, as I mentioned, that when you get to that point that it's not an operator error that can be corrected, it will tell you to contact Merrychef service. On the side of the ovens, there's a warranty tag with our 800 number that you can call. Usually the local service company, if they've been in there before, they put their tags on the oven, or you can obviously get a hold of Well-Built Kitchen Care through the 800 number, and we'll help you get service for the oven as well. But this information here will be helpful if you can share it with the tech on the call. And with that, we always have to put in the pitch for our products. The Merrychef cleaner is formulated specifically for our ovens. And if you use it consistently, it does help make the cleaning process easier. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say that it's not easy to clean an oven. It's not easy to clean a grill. That's the tedious task that in the kitchen, we all know it, but this little oven is a little money maker for you. If you take care of it with 20 to 30 minutes a day, looking after it, it will last you a long time and produce a lot of good product for you and keep your customers coming back. With that, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Melissa, and she can tell you about our partnership with Partstown and the support and all of our performance and kitchen care offering, along with, I think, basic links to our websites as well, of where we keep all this information for you guys to use and be able to get to quickly. Melissa?
Thank you, Scott. Hey, everybody. We definitely wanted to touch base and just talk a little bit about our partnership between Kitchen Care Merrychef and Partstown. You know, part of this maintenance and service that Scott's been talking about includes genuine OEM parts. We want to make sure that you're getting the correct parts designed specifically for your ovens, whether it's an E2S, an E4S, or any of the other mentioned products. Also, we have available a full line of the Merrychef cleaner and protector, as well as a full line of accessories. That's one of the things that we don't talk about much, but there is a full line of accessories that you can find information on our website about. With that, a lot of the information that Scott discussed is available on our website. If you go to www.wbtkitchencare.com, we have a full self-help library with some documents, a lot of the videos that actually walk you through all of the cleaning steps, and it's a full cleaning so you can see how quickly it actually should take if it's done daily, so that your team isn't having to do deep cleans to get all the residue and everything off. But it's also helpful in understanding if you have a common issue that you can take care of yourself, or maybe trying to identify if you need to reach out for further assistance from one of our factory authorized servicers. So it kind of helps you identify some of those areas. Also, what we offer to support you guys is a planned maintenance program. We have partnered with Merrychef to go through and make sure that this is designed with the equipment needs, and we do offer 3 program levels: a basic, a standard, and a premium. And the purpose in designing 3 different levels is that we know each of you guys have a different menu offering, have different levels in which you're outputting each day. So we try to design this knowing that everybody has a little different need. And we want to make sure that we're addressing that and trying to fulfill it properly. So those are some of the things we're working, between Partstown and Merrychef to make sure on the aftermarket side, we are taking care of you guys. So definitely, if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. And thank you all for participating today.
All right, thanks, Scott and Melissa, for sharing your expertise with all of us. For everyone joining today, more information on Merrychef will be heading your way in our post-event email, which includes the replay of this webinar and some more troubleshooting tips. Partstown is proud to be a master distributor for Merrychef and your one-stop source for all of your genuine OEM parts, accessories, and consumable needs. Of course, that includes the Merrychef oven protector and cleaner that we discussed today. So we have a few minutes left to take some questions, and we actually have some in the queue from our attendees. So I'll throw this one at you, Scott, first. How often should I be inspecting and cleaning cook plates and feet?
Cook plates you should be cleaning daily, at least once a day. And then where the feet connect, you're speaking of previous generation on the ovens. Some of the E2S had feet with them, Teflon feet. So those need to be inspected daily. If those feet are compromised in any way, then that cook plate needs to be replaced. Yep, the little white feet, if that's what you're speaking of. Sorry, I can't answer the question any more direct than that without knowing what feet they're speaking of.
I think that's what they were focusing on.
Okay, yeah.
So the next question here that we have is, can you add pizza stones to the oven?
That's an interesting one. The stone would block the airflow, so I think it would be counterproductive to the operation of the oven. The cook plate, if you cook on our trays or our tray liners, will actually give you a very similar type of wicking action from your product that you would have with that product touching a deck material, right? You're trying to wick a little bit of moisture out of the dough if you're cooking a pizza product to get a crispier bottom. So we do have both smooth and grooved cook plates. And I think we actually have one of each. So you actually flip it over, one side's grooved and one side's smooth if you needed more contact surface areas. So perhaps not an external accessory, but one of the Merrychef accessories that we have available. And we could also ping our chefs on that question as well to help you get to the cook consistency, the product texture that you're looking for, if I'm reading into that question right.
Our attendees came with some really good questions today. This is actually a good one here. Do guidelines exist for replacing the door gasket on the Icon E4S? And roughly how much time is needed to perform a task like that?
Yeah, so you can get the guidelines. The guidelines come with the part, if you will. There's instructions with the part, and it's probably a 20-minute exercise to put the gasket on, scrape the old one off, put some silicone down, put the new one on, and then about a 2-hour cure period with the oven in a non-using state. So you close, after you have fixed the gasket to the door, you close the door, leave the oven on in just a standby mode, and the heat from the oven cures the silicone for the gasket to adhere, so you can use it within a couple hours.
So this is a really good question, and it's really relevant to what's going on right now. As restaurants reopen, do operators need to do any additional cleaning or preventative maintenance to get their ovens back up and running, especially if they've been sitting powered off for an extended period of time?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the ovens, I mean, everything really, there are a few moving parts in there. There's the stirrer motors for the microwave system, and there's the motor, the main convection motor, are the two main parts that you would be concerned about that would be stale, if you will, from being sitting. Nothing really an operator can do other than when they restart it, make sure that there's no odd noises, no bearing noises from those components sitting for an extended period of time, maybe becoming a little bit rusted or covered in moisture. But normally they're sealed systems. We don't see that as a problem. Moreover, I would just say make sure it's clean, that the outside is clean, that the cooling louvers in the back are clean, and everything is ready to go as you will. It's not undifferent. The Merrychef ovens are built in Sheffield, in the UK, shipped to the US, stored in the warehouse. So they may be in storage for 3 to 6 months before they hit a store. So storage is considered as part of the design of the appliance and shouldn't impact it if it's stored for an extended period of time. Good question.
Right, I think we got one more here. Aside from daily cleaning, how often should I do deeper cleanings, and what's required for that?
Yeah, so that's a interesting question. Deeper cleaning is because you haven't done it daily, right? And if you do it daily, you don't have to do a deeper cleaning. But I would say if you get to that point, you really need to spend the time to bring it back. And it's just a matter of letting the chemicals work and taking off the layers of built up carbon and grease that you're all probably familiar with that happens on the Merrychef ovens, on any speed oven. Again, it's that hot box that sits there all day long, cooking that grease on. So if you let it go a couple of days, it just becomes built up. So any of the Merrychef cleaners that you can do that, a green scrubby pad to help your process of removing that grease. On some of the models, you can remove the grease filter in the back, the E4C specifically. Some of the newer models, we've removed some of those parts. So it's really just a hand cleaning, wiping of the interior cavity that you can see in the back of the door and around the door choke and those areas. Basically, if you can see it, you should clean it.
Thanks, Scott, for taking the time to answer some of those questions. And thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar. Our contact information is on the screen for your reference. Make sure to complete the short survey heading your way to let us know what you think. We'd love to offer more events like this in the future, so your feedback will help to inform us of the topics, format, and timing that best meets your needs. Thanks also to all of our partners at WellBuilt for their time and valuable information provided today. Everyone, have a great rest of your day.